Oh, hello everyone. Hi, I'm going to give you a chance to jump in muna. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Iris from Filipino Success Movement. There was a little bit of issue with the time, so I know it will take a while for people to jump in. Magandang gabi po sa lahat. Ito yung ating usual broadcast. So today, tonight, dyan sa Philippines, today, this morning sa akin, and para sa guest natin sa kanyang hapon, ay napaka-exciting na talakayan. I think we're gonna learn a lot from this guest. Nakita niyo na po siguro yung poster. Pakita ko lang ulit. So I have with me today, napaka-inspiring na, what I would say, pamantayan. You know, it's someone that we can really look up to na parang iset yung ating mga standards of what's possible for us. Tayo mga Pilipino na nagnanais, meron mga pangarap, people who are who have goals and dreams, what's really possible for us, right? So we will be speaking siguro in Taglish. I'll have her for another day siguro when we speak in English too, kasi I'd really love to share her advocacy. Siguro ngayon, for the sake of, because we have viewers from Filipino-Canadian organization, Filipino Success Movement, Global TV. Hello, shout out kay Sir Norwin. And of course, sa channel natin. So I'll be talking to her, you know, siguro Taglish, and then we'll have another broadcast. I'll talk to her in English doon. Kasi again, sabi ko nga, I really just want to share her advocacy and her story. Kasi napaka-inspiring po. So to give you a bit of a background before I bring her on. So napakabigatin po ang ating guest ngayon. She was awarded as one of the 100 most influential Filipina women in the world by Filipina Women's Network. So tingnan niyo po yan. I mean, this is not a, you know, this is a, sorry about this part here. This is not a, you know, like small award, right? Isa yan sa mga, I would say, it speaks about how probably much her contribution is kaya siya napili na mabigyan ng award na yan. And then, I guess yung iba, I will just share with you later, but this is her current team. So this is her team in London. So she is a solicitor. Siya po ay isang lawyer. So nagtayo siya ng kanyang sariling law firm. So just by that, right, you can probably get a sense of, you know, how much it takes, how accomplished she is. And later, pag-uusapan natin yung iba pang nangyari sa kanya, yung mga accolades niya. So without further ado, let me bring her on. So everyone, I want you to welcome yung ating special guest. We have Attorney Crystal Dias. Hello, Crystal.
Hello, Dr. Iris. Thank you
Hi.
for inviting me in your show today. So I'm very excited.
Yes, thank you for giving us this time. I know that for someone like you, right, it's really, really busy. And so you carved out the time, you know, you were so easy to talk to. We don't know each other personally. You know, I came across you because of your work, you know, common connection. And I just sent you a message and here you are. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm really humbled and grateful that you're here today with us.
Oh, the honor is mine. Thank you very much again for inviting me, Dr. Iris. And because of your advocacy, I'm very excited to be here.
Yes. And I think because we share some common, you know, like the love for uplifting the Filipino, yung mga kababayan natin, the Filipino people, right? Because for us living abroad, it becomes a bit more, I would say, really close to our heart. Kasi you can see yung, like when you were in the Philippines, yeah, for sure you can fight for these things too. But, you know, when you are kind of like marginalized, right? You're living abroad and people don't have as many resources, then the more that nagsistand out yung mga needs ng society natin. And really, like, I think what you've done, stepping up to the challenge, you know, of providing that great service para sa mga kababayan natin, I think that's very laudable. So today, yeah, pag-uusapan natin yung a few things. I guess you'll just be parang dadaan din natin sa kwentuhan, but to let but in that way also to let our viewers know from the kwentuhan, let them pick some important pearls, right, from your journey. So today we're going to talk about first yung sorry for the typo here, yung journey mo of migrating from the Philippines to the UK, yung mga naging accomplishments mo, and also your advocacy.
Mhm.
So, can you tell us a bit about, and if I lose you, just jump in again, sometimes yung connection. So,
Okay.
but before we, by the way, before we proceed, let me just greet who's here. So let me pull up a few comments. We have Marge. Marge, good morning. Yes, good morning, Marge. Tuna is also here.
Oh, wow.
Hello. Hello, Tuna. Miss Sylvia Christy Ray. Hello, good evening to everyone, too. Yeah. And Miss Ethel Alon. Hi, Miss Ethel.
Hello.
And Marlon is here watching from YouTube. So we have mixed viewers. Some people are watching from YouTube, some people are watching from Facebook. So Marlon, and
Yes.
then Mirna is also here. Yes, good evening. And we have Anna Ferrer. Hi, Anna Ferrer. Magandang gabi dyan. And we have Janelyn. Hello. Hi, Janelyn. And we also have Angie. Good evening and good evening kay attorney. Yes. So, yes. Miss Sylvia Kirsty Ray and Noella is also here. Hi, Noella. Yeah, so we also have Miss Divina Caser Fabian from KSA. So our friends from Saudi, kumusta po
Mhm.
lahat? Yeah, if we have friends from Europe, can you please also comment? Kasi si Attorney Dias, she's based in the UK, right? So yung mga friends natin dyan, I know we have followers sa London. So, and yeah, galing talagang magaling po siya. Sabi ni Marlene, galing naman. Yeah. Ronalyn is also here. Yeah. And yeah, Janalyn, lahat sila, they're just saying, very successful
Haven't
naman.
even said anything yet.
I know, I know. Well,
That's amazing. It's
you
they
know,
follow you, Dr. Iris.
no, the Crystal, well, pretty much, right? The fact that you were awarded that, you know, really like, I would say, uh, parang isa yun sa mga pag sinabing in the world na, right, and influential women, it's kind of like one of those awards na talagang up there, right? So it's not a light thing, right? So,
Mm.
and Melvin is also here. Melvin. And sino pa po ang hindi nabate? Pasensya na sa hindi mababate. Miss Maria Elizabeth Descarten is also here. And Joy. Hello, Miss Joy. Good evening. So some of our followers are from our page. Also, Miss Esther Humawid Gumapak. Magandang gabi po. Magandang umaga sa inyo. Wherever in the world you are, you can please put in kung taga saan kayo. It'll be awesome. Ito from Quebec. So one of our viewers, so here in Canada. So Buenas Espina Bargeron. Hello po sa inyo. Hi. I hope hindi na masyado malamig sa Quebec. Ano po, springtime na rin. Yeah, and then Cruz Erda. Yeah, so Erda will be discussing this in another post, okay, about intermittent fasting. Today, we'll be talking to our guest, okay? So we'll take note of your question. Thank you for your question. Si Miss Feba Colod from Bohol. Hello po sa mga friends natin sa Bohol.
Mhm.
Milliflor is saying, hello, Doctora and Attorney. Hello. Yan. So, ang ganda po ng tandem ngayon, ano? Doctor
I
and
know, this is
lawyer. It's
amazing.
awesome. It is awesome.
Brilliant.
Yes. I'm excited to learn from your story, Ma'am Crystal. Sabi ni Miss Arlene. A lot of our followers here at Attorney are, they're very success minded. I think, the concept, because if you see the name of our platform, right, Filipino Success Movement, so
Mhm.
a lot of people are drawn to that concept of success. And so I'm in such a privileged position to be inviting guests like yourself. Kasi nga, by showcasing your story, it shows them what's possible for them, right? Kasi certainly anyone can do it. Kaya nga, we are sharing with them your story so that they can see na maaring merong mga parallelism, and in spite of, some challenges and all that, they can also probably achieve the same thing, right? With the guidance, mga pearls na matutunan nila. So I'll read the rest of our, meron pa tayong viewer from Costa Rica, si Miss Esther Humawid. Hello. Hello
Wow.
po. Hello daw po, Attorney Menchi Geronimo Santiago is also saying, ayan, nakaka-inspire daw both, sabi ni Marlin. Ayan. So, alam mo, Crystal, while we are, give me a moment, kasi gusto ko lang itong palitan. Give me a moment. Ayan. I just want to, kasi just so people, kasi some people will be jumping in a little bit later, and I want them to know right away kung sino yung guest natin. So, ang gagawin ko, so I'm just doing this. Sige, type in your comments lang po. Yung mga may gustong itanong na dyan, gawin nyo rin. So what I'll do, give me a moment. Papalitan ko lang itong ating, just doing something here in the background. Yan. So, sige lang po, ilagay lang ninyo mga comments and babasahin ko yan in a moment. Ayan. So, okay. So here we are. Para makikita nila who our guest is, it's a lawyer, right? So Attorney Crystal Dias. So Crystal, magsisimulan muna natin the first bit of our talk. So can you tell us a bit about this part? So yung migration mo from Philippines to the UK, how did that happen? What's your background like? So tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so I was actually born in the Philippines. I was raised there, but I came to UK when I was a teenager. So to join my mother, she was here first, and we settled in a place where it's in the middle of nowhere. So no Filipinos, no other ethnic minorities. So I went to school there. It's in Kent, which is in the southeast of the UK, and it's a small village called All Hallows. And in that area, you have to take the bus for about an hour to go to the school. And during that time when I started my first day, I was so scared. And with my sister, we both started school there, and we didn't know anyone. There were no other Filipinos. And when the kids started asking us, "Where are you from?" I said, "We're from the Philippines." And they said, "Where is that? Is that, is it in Africa?" I said, "No." "And are you Mongolian?" I said, "No, I'm Filipino. I'm from the Philippines." So I had to explain myself where I'm from. It was tough because we didn't know anyone. I had a life in the Philippines, but then I had to leave that life and start a new life abroad. And it's never easy, as you know, if as a teenager, you've already had your formative years in the Philippines, but then you come to another country, and it's very difficult to start again, to make new friends, to settle in a place where you don't know anything. So it was a culture shock. But I'm so happy that my mom is very supportive. She worked hard to be where I am. She's an inspiration to me. She didn't finish school or college, but she made sure that I was the first one to finish university in our family.
Wow.
Yeah. So when going through that stage, learning about myself again, finding myself again, meeting new friends in school. Then I moved on to college again, the same, finding myself again, learning, English is different from American English or Canadian English. They have this dialect as well. I didn't understand at the time. It's very difficult. But I learned. I had to learn fast and quick, and to make sure I'm actually in the race with these other young teenagers, because it's very difficult, as I said, to be in a different world altogether you don't know anything about. But then when I went to school, I moved on to college, and then I decided I wanted to become a a lawyer. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to become a professional because I wasn't satisfied just working straight away. I think that's not for me. I wanted to be proud of myself, and I wanted my family to be proud of me. So I decided I want to go to university. So when I arrived in the UK, it was 1990. So everything happened in the 1990s. So when I went to university, I met so many different people, so many friends from different backgrounds, from different nationalities, and I loved it. That's the great thing about UK. You get to meet, when you then move on to that stage of your life, going to university, you meet so many interesting people, and that's where I met my husband. So Christopher, who's also a solicitor, who's also a lawyer.
Wow. So parehas lawyer. And he is, Christopher is not Filipino, right?
No, it's not Filipino. That my surname is actually Anglo-Indian. It stemmed from it's a Portuguese name,
That's
but
right.
we pronounce it as Dias, and in English way. So he was 18. I was in my 20s, so he was my toy boy.
That's
um, uh,
nice.
but we
Wow.
just clicked.
Haba ng hair. I
Yes.
don't know if you know that saying, haba ng
No.
hair. So it means like, oh wow, that like as a woman, right? If you're saying haba ng hair, it's kind of like you're as a woman, you I guess yung parang ang potent mo because you're able to do something like that, right?
I did
So
have
anyway,
very long hair when he met me.
okay.
and
Yeah.
it's and I we were so comfortable with each other, and we shared the same journey. So we studied law at the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London, and we decided after that we to become a solicitor. In the UK, you can choose to become a solicitor or a barrister. A barrister is that where you go to court every day, whereas a solicitor, you meet clients every day, you deal with clients directly, and you can even go to court. So with that relationship, with our clients, we preferred that, whereas barristers, they don't really deal with clients.
Wow,
Uh,
so iba pala yun, Crystal. Actually, when I watched your interview, dun ko lang din nalaman the difference between a solicitor and a barrister. Because I know UK uses like different terms for things, right? Dito kasi
yes,
it's just lawyer. So when you say lawyer, there's no
yeah,
distinction. Pero so yung barrister pala are the people who are in court every day. And
yes,
then solicitor, you can also do that, but mainly meeting with clients.
correct,
So
yes,
yeah,
yes.
okay.
I
Thanks
mean,
for
as a solicitor, we can't go to the higher court. You have to have a higher right of audience. But my husband, he goes to court. The first tier tribunal. We deal with immigration. So any immigration appeal, then he actually goes to court. I used to do that as well. It's just I don't really like doing that because of my schedule with family and all. Um, so when I finished university, I decided to become a solicitor. That also is a long journey for me because in the UK it's very hard to get a training contract. It's like gold dust. You have to go through that process. So you go through the 3-year university. You do your degree, and then 1 year in law school. So you do the legal practice course, and then you have to have 2 years training contract, and that's offered by employers, and it's very difficult. It's very competitive.
Oh, I can just imagine. Yeah. I mean, especially, in that time frame, like 90s, and you were obviously at that time, parang part of the minority, right? So how difficult,
Correct.
no connections, right? Like a lot of people thrive on connections, but in your
Yeah,
case, you're really
you're
the
right.
classic story, right? Of someone who had to like do it from, kind of from scratch.
From
So,
scratch.
wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like I got a training contract straight away. After university, um, so after the legal practice course, I took a year off to study to work because I needed the money. It's very expensive to go to university and do the legal practice course. So I took a year off, and then during that time, I was looking for a training contract, and I was a paralegal. Is you're not quite a lawyer yet, you're not quite a qualified solicitor, but you can work in a law firm, and they call it as a paralegal, but it doesn't lead to training contract. But I'm so glad, because of hard work and all, I managed to get one. And but I really had to fight for it because the competition is so tough. And being a Filipina, and English was my second language, so it's for them. Okay, what can she offer? I have to like sell myself to them, but I proved myself. So I got the training contract. I became a solicitor in 2003, and I worked for a few years. Then I decided I've learned everything I need to learn to know about the area of law I was specializing, and that was property. So I was doing property law, and then I decided to. It wasn't enough just to qualify. I wanted more. So then I decided I want to set up my own business. And that was in 2008. And it wasn't easy, Dr. Iris, because at that time there was recession in the UK.
That was a financial crunch, right? Yung
Yes, financial
2008. Yeah.
crisis. And luckily, Chris and I were already married. We got married in 2005. We had our first child in 2006. But then the credit crunch happened. We had to quickly sell our house, and during the height of the property market, we sold it. We got equity profit from it, and then the credit crunch happened. And I said to myself, well, perhaps we take this as an opportunity to set up our own business, and that was a brave thing to do, because why would you do that? Set up your own business. But then, for me, I just didn't do it out of a just a whim. I just do it. No, I had to think long and hard about it, because first, there are very few Filipino lawyers in the UK. Probably I was the second one. And then I know my trade, and I have a very good mentor. My husband, he specialized in immigration from the start. So he mentored me. He showed me the ropes and how to deal with immigration. So in the middle of credit crunch, I got a room. I got an insurance, and I read how to set up your own business. So there in central London, in a small room, one desk, one phone, one chair, and I didn't partner with anyone. It's just myself. So again, and when you're trying to reach that point, okay, I have to if you're gonna be in a business, you have to partner with someone. I didn't do that. I just did it by myself. Eventually, my husband joined me because we wanted to it as a family business. But I was sitting down there, sitting in that room, scared, because I didn't have any clients. And my husband actually said, "Do not worry, you'll get clients."
Yeah,
So,
I know.
okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh my God, I was so excited, and I was so scared. But then I got phone calls. So the phone calls kept coming. And then it's just free consultation, because you have to. So I have to market myself, start networking. So I contacted the Philippine embassy, the leaders of the Filipino community, because when I arrived here, I wasn't part of the Filipino community in the UK, because everyone British English. So I lost touch with my Philippine root for a few years, maybe 8 years, actually, of a very long time, maybe 15 years. And then, because I've been in the UK for 30 years now, actually, 31 years now. So when I decided I want to have my own immigration law firm, it would be serving the Filipino community in London and outside London. So when I started networking. So I contacted the Filipino leaders, community leaders, the local radio station. So that's when I started promoting Dias Solicitors. Eventually, my husband joined me. It was hard work because I've never owned such a business like this before. Um, and loads of tears, lots of sweat, late nights, having a young daughter as well, juggling everything. It was hard work, really. It wasn't easy during credit crunch as well. When everything was around me, you can see people's houses were being repossessed, debt collections and all of that. And funnily enough, when I was a paralegal, uh, when I started my legal career, I used to do repossession litigation. I used to take people's houses. I used to represent the lenders because there was also there was a financial crisis in 1998. So I remember that very well because we were so busy, issuing applying for court orders for repossession, and I used to attend court then. But then 2008 again, it's the same, but this time, it's me taking a high risk, and it paid off. It's now 12 years since, or 13 years actually, this year, since starting Dias Solicitors. And that 13-year period, when I started hiring staff, I had a solicitor working for me. I trained another Filipina who used to be a teacher, and then she became a solicitor, but she went back to teaching. But now we have two trainee solicitors, two consultants, office manager, and we take on loads of young people wanting work experience. So summertime is very, very busy for the
That's so
firm.
awesome. Yeah. And
And
like, this
that's
is,
my advocacy, Dr. Iris. That's it. That's the Dias team.
yes, the
So both of
Dias
them are
team.
trainee solicitor, and both of them are Filipinos.
Very nice. Attorney, I just want to kind of highlight some of the things that you said because I think it's very important for people. And sometimes it can get buried because people are kind of really like listening to the story. But I want to highlight a few points here. First of all, the journey, right? So, mga ka-FSM, anyone who's watching this who is planning to perhaps like immigrate, or if you're currently part of a minority, yung journey niya, where she was like, really, they didn't even know like where the Philippines was, right? And so time and time again, she had to prove herself. Yung competition of getting that training, yung training niya, what was the term again, Crystal, for that?
Training
The
contract.
the training contract.
Mhm.
So that particular thing, I'm pretty sure that you did something so that you could stand out. Can you share with me a little bit? Because my journey is in parallel with yours. It's extremely hard to, you know, work here as a doctor, as an immigrant. Dito din sa BC, like British Columbia, I had to really I had to stand out. But tell me how you did it. How did you actually stand out so that itong mga young audience natin dito, it can be applied to, say, work, right? It can be applied kung kahit hindi man po kayo imigrante, maybe you can pick up a pearl from Attorney Dias, how she did it, para you can actually have that edge. So how did you create that edge, Crystal? Because you did say it before. You said you had to stand out.
Well, I started work early, like before 9 o'clock, and I left work around 11, 12 o'clock midnight.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's
Wow.
as trainee, and actually the cleaner's gone already. It's just to make sure that I finish the job on the day, so that my boss will see my work the next day. So that was for 2 years, and when the work was heavy and a lot of searches, because the type property law is open to negligence. So you have to be meticulous, you have to carry out due diligence. So long hours. It was long hours. On top of that, not only doing my normal work, I was doing extra work to make myself stand out. So I was doing the insurance policy, which is something that I didn't have to do. If you're buying a property and something's not right, then you have to back it up with an insurance. So I was doing that as well on the side. So I got noticed, and my mentor at the time, my boss, he's actually into people staying late, working hard, making loads of teas. He loves his cup of teas.
Yeah, British, right?
Yeah. So the first thing I do is that I take the post out, take the file out, and while he's sitting there in his chair, working, his phone would be ringing, and then I pick it up for him. So I was doing all this work for him that something that he probably didn't want to do himself. So making sure that the phone call, either he would take it or not. So I was like his go-between. I was almost a secretary, and then also asking what would you want for lunch, I can get you lunch, anything that he would need, not just like on paper, like doing the actual work, legal work. I was doing everything just to stand out, because in the UK, if it's just in the contract what you need to do, that's all they're going to do, nothing else.
So true. So
I
true.
have to do something extra just to stand out, But obviously, knowing I have to know my self-worth. I have to show that I have value, to him. And he saw that. The firm saw that. And after 6 months of being a paralegal, they offered it to me, the training contract. I was crying. It was because it was so hard to get.
As you
But
said, it's like gold dust, right? Like
it's
gold.
gold dust. And you know what? When I was a paralegal, I mean, before I was working somewhere else, I was getting enough money just, as a young 22. So I don't know, 24 years old. But then I had to leave that job because it wasn't going anywhere. So I moved to this job, this firm. When they offered me paralegal with a view to training contract, I took it. It didn't matter about the money because the money was low. As a paralegal, they were paying me £13,000 per year. And I don't know how much that in Canadian dollars, but it's not much. So my parents were still, my mom was still, sending me money, subsidizing my basic expenses. But when I got the training contract, I moved to different areas of expertise. So it was property law, family, and probate, wills and probate. So I got into family as well because I now specialize in immigration and family. So I actually took so much, I learned so much from my mentor then, which I, incorporated in my own firm. But then times changed, I couldn't really say to my staff, you have to work 9 to 5 plus extra work. Now it's flexible. You've got to be flexible. They can work from home. If they're family, they can come late, they can just make up the time. Then when I was starting, I couldn't even do that. I wouldn't even dare to ask for flexible hours, even when
There was no internet too, right? That time.
no internet, no Google. You can't. You have to find things out for yourself the hard way. Then and everything you have to have a meeting in person. Nothing like this. Everything's got to be there physically. You've got to be there physically to do your job. So for me, hard work, perseverance, resilience. No matter what happens to you, no matter how bad you feel, and you're really crying, you just push forward because at the end you get something out of it. Your
You
hard
know,
work, you can harvest it at the end.
that's why I love inviting guests like you here, Crystal. Because when people have reached this height of success, so by the way, so people who just jumped in, let me just give you what you missed. So basically, ang guest po natin is a awarded as one of the 100 most influential Filipina women in the world by the Filipino Women's Network. She's a lawyer who's currently working sa UK po. And the reason why I love having guests like Crystal who have achieved this level of success is because maganda po nating, it's great for us to pick up yun ngang mga uh, yung mga values ng Filipino that I would say that they embody. Kasi I know that a lot of Filipinos are hardworking, right? A lot of Filipinos are resilient and all that. But
Yeah.
you have to have that right kind of amount of yung pinakita niya na hard work. Imagine going in early, leaving late, because she knew, I mean, it's obviously not sustainable for a long, long time. But for that time period, that was exactly what she needed to do to get that coveted yung training contract na yun, and it's not being offered like so easily, especially for a minority like her. So
Yes.
the point that I'm driving here, mga ka-FSM, is mga fellow Filipinos natin who, for example, nandiyan kayo sa abroad or hindi man kayo sa abroad, nasa Philippines, and you're just, going to your work na parang ganun na lang, right? Paycheck to paycheck. If you want to make something of yourself, merong trade-off, right? There's no such thing as a shortcut. There's no such thing as hindi naman yan lottery. You will be rewarded according to your contribution. And so in her case, she made sure that she stood out because hindi nga, so she tried to find ways. Okay, kung yung mga iba will stick to the contract na yan lang ang gagawin mo, I'm gonna do extra, right? And then you will stand out, and then you will prove yourself. And isabay mo dyan yung iba pang mga magagandang quality ng Filipinos, which is resilience. Yung sinabi niya, kasi tayo talagang kahit anong dagok, di ba, yung mga bagyo, mga ganyan,
Yes.
the next day we're still gonna be up,
Yeah.
right?
And
So,
smiling.
exactly.
Right?
So, kailangan lang po ninyong gamitin yung mga already, I would say, ingrained traits sa ating mga Pilipino, yung hindi tayo takot sa hard work, yung willing tayo to go the extra mile, right? Yan yung isa sa mga best traits ng Filipinos, yung resilience, like Crystal did, and really just magnify that. And that will lead you doon sa success, right? Like, so, I think that it was very powerful when you said that, and also knowing that ikaw yung unang professional sa family mo. I mean, imagine that accomplishment. I think I saw a comment here, sabi nila, your parents must be so proud of you, trying to find that comment. And also, syempre, sabi ni Marge, you're very intelligent and very brave attorney. Yeah, truly, right, guys? I mean, imagine, she put up a business in the middle of, kumbaga parang pandemic din yun, yung time na yun. Ang hirap nung panahon na yun, yung credit crunch time, yung financial crisis na yun. And sabi niya, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go at it alone. So ginawa po niya. And the other thing that I love, Crystal, was your vision na nakita mo that it's important to network.
Yes.
A lot of people are afraid of this term. Pag
Yes.
sinabi kasing network, ang iniisip agad ng mga tao, MLM, mga ganon. Nothing, honestly, personally, I think there's really nothing wrong with that. These are just people who are trying to make an honest living, right? So, mali po na i-label natin yung mga networking as wrong. But in reality, guys, you're not gonna have a business if you don't connect. So, what Attorney Dias showed us, the importance. Kasi when she started, she just had the one room, right? One room. And then sabi niya, walang clients. So she did what she could. Tingnan niyo po yung ginawa niya. Hindi siya ganun, right? A lot of people, when you start accomplishing things, parang, parang, you walk with parang head held so high. But in her case, okay, I need to reach out to the Filipino leaders. I need to go to the embassy. I need to connect. I need to give the free consultations. So you need to do what it takes, right? And you cannot get far if you don't connect and collaborate with people. And so ito yung isa, and I guess that really shows your strength of character as a leader, because maraming mga tao are highly accomplished as well, but they lack this, as I've told you nung nag-usap tayo, kasi I was talking to Attorney Dias before, and I told her, I really like your aura. You're so, you have just a very positive. You wouldn't even think she's a lawyer. Ano po? Sa mga nakakapanood po nito, tignan niyo po yung kanyang smile, how much she radiates this warmth. Ano po? And so, what I'm trying to say again is your success should not be equated with yun nga yung parang masyado ka ng mapagmataas. You have to be able to connect, you have to be humble, right? That's the element, yung meaningful success that I'm driving, I'm promoting dito sa platform ko. Kasi guys, isn't just a success channel, it's a meaningful success channel. And so that's why yung mga guests ko po, kung napapansin nyo, right, they all have like the similar characteristics na, they're successful, but you see that they're down to earth, you see that they're very value driven. And so, kaya I love having people like this here. So, thank you so much for those, yung mga pearls. And I just really wanted to highlight those before we move on. Para kasi yung minsan nami-miss dahil sarap ng kwentuhan. And yung ibang tao, they don't, so I wanted to drive that point home. And before we move on, basahin natin yung mga comments dito. Silipin ko lang po. Sabi ni Ronaldin from YouTube, so glad you've been able to witness such cultural diversity, attorney. Sabi naman, syempre, maraming nag-wow. Hello po, Mr. Arenkin Alahan. Kumusta po kayo, sir? Saan man kayo naroon? Noella, being a lawyer is so hard po. Totoo po, nakita natin. It's not a walk in the park. Certainly not. So inspiring po, sabi ni Janelyn. Baka may mga gusto ditong mag-law, yung mga baka, hopefully, or may kamag-anak kayong gusto mag-law. Make sure you share this broadcast with them para they get an idea what it really takes. So inspiring daw, sabi ni Anna Ferrer. So inspiring din daw, sabi ni Marlin.
Right.
Noella, being a lawyer in the other country is so hard. You did it there, attorney. So amazing and very inspiring. Yeah, and then sabi ni, andito rin si Berotsky. Hello po. Marge, you're very, I think I've read this before. And love how you managed to thrive despite the crisis during that time, Attorney Crystal.
Yes.
And Marge, your hard work, Attorney Crystal, really paid off. Yes, hard work.
Yes.
Lahat sila. So, very good, guys. You're picking up on the key terms here, right? Kasi yun talaga yun. Wow. Very workaholic. Sometimes, guys, again, Attorney Dias, my channel promotes yung harmony. But the reality is, certain phases of our lives, we do have to put in those long hours. Syempre, I'm not saying that you're going to do that forever, but certain phases, right? Because it's necessary to do that so you can get to the next step. So gusto ko lang yun
I just want to point out, Dr. Iris, not just that I'm ethnic, from ethnic background, I'm also a woman.
Yes.
Discrimination is a man's role. Law, the law sector, legal sector is a man's role too in the UK, probably everywhere else. It's hard enough to be a woman outside law, but when you're actually dealing with law, it's a competition. It's and being a woman is harder. But I'm actually glad to say there are more women solicitors in the UK now than men. But I'm glad that I managed to join the race and made it at the end. And I'm still pursuing. I wanted more. So I'm planning something, in the future to do something else. But what I'm advocating at the moment really is to mentoring other Filipino inspiring lawyers, who they want to get into law. And my law firm is welcome to them. As you can see, I have 2 Filipino trainee solicitors, and I've had others as well in the past. I mean, not just Filipinos, but the young people. So they come to my to my office, and they spend about 2 weeks, a month, or for how long they want it, and it's there. I don't. I'm not. There are other law firms in the UK owned by other Filipinos, but I know they don't like mentoring. They don't pursue that. But for me, I'm sharing my knowledge. I'm sharing my skills. I'm sharing what I've learned during the time as a trainee solicitor and as a newly qualified solicitor, and I want to pass it on. And I'm happy to say that the people working for me or with me, they're happy that they're actually working for the firm, because they know it's now a brand. It's now a well-known brand in London. It's in the city, and we are doing so well that, in fact, last year the Law Society shortlisted Dias Solicitors for the Small Law Firm of the Year award. So, I mean,
Here you
it,
go, guys.
yeah,
Yeah, look at that. Look at that
and
amazing
that's my
achievement.
team. So my
Look at that.
husband, myself, and a solicitor consultant, trainee, office manager, and a trainee. So this was during the pandemic. This was just last year. So we celebrated in October. So the rule of six, we actually celebrated it. It was amazing. Although we didn't win, the fact that there are over 3,000 law firms in the UK, we were, picked. So it was really, really good.
And I think, Crystal, it really showcases how truthful it is that you will be given this term as a leader, right? Like, kasi true leaders, guys. So this is another thing that I always like drive home as well. True leaders groom other leaders. The true leaders, they don't just, like do things so that others will follow, but in fact, they make leaders out of people. And I love itong mindset ni attorney about this because it's also true, although we talked about the good values ng mga Filipinos, meron din tayong toxic values as a culture. And one of those na very, very prominent, and this is why ang tagline ng platform ko, attorney, is hatak pataas, kasi I'm trying to go against the grain of crab mentality, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people will have this, and I'm so very happy to hear from you that you're coming from this abundance mindset, that there's enough for everyone, you can mentor others. It's okay to help others. It's okay to lift them up, right? Because there's no need to compete all the time. There's plenty for
No,
everyone.
that's the
So
thing. Yeah. Even if they decide to set up their own law firm in the future, that's fine. Actually, that's good for me, because that means that I'm part of that. I inspire them to do that. I'm not stopping them. They can do what they like after the training. They can go off and set out what they want to do, have their own law firm. It's fine by me, because I've done it. I don't want to stop people from doing that. I'm not competing with others. I don't put other people down. I don't like doing that. If you have the skills, if you've got the determination, and you strive for the best, I'm there for you. I'll support you. And that's what I'm doing. And yeah, I think, and it pays off. I have a very good, healthy relationship with my staff.
it's so amazing, to be hearing this from someone like you. Because really, again, we have this vision, kasi, right, of lawyers and how, like usually they're kind of like, yung connotation is like they're sharks and all that, right? And so people will have like this concept that, they're just really after money and all that. But,
Yeah.
it's so heartwarming to hear something like this, from you, so very accomplished, but also willing to help out other people. And I'm even more excited about this next part because this is, I think, why you were really, I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, this is why you had this award. And this is regarding yung advocacy mo. I think so. Everyone, please pay attention to this part because this is really what I think one of the key strengths ni Attorney Dias. I mean, she's been so inspiring so far, but now she will talk about her advocacy. And dito po ninyo makikita just how like she's a diamond, right? Hindi siya, but she really is worth talaga na nakuha niya yung award na yun. So, Attorney Dias, tell us about your advocacy, what you're doing to help our fellow Filipinos in the UK, in the hardships that they're experiencing. Tell us a bit about that, the work that you're doing right now that's creating a big difference in our community.
Well, I specialize in immigration and family law. And there are a lot of undocumented migrants in the UK. There are also who are victims of domestic violence, vulnerable women, people with disabilities. So I'm dealing with those type of clients and helping them to regularize their stay in the UK. But not just that, actually channeling them to get help. For example, if they're vulnerable, for example, what we deal with women who were trafficked, so human trafficking and slavery. So we channel them to the right organization. I've actually gone to a detention center to visit this lady because she was trafficked, and she was caught. She was, because of my representation, she was released on the understanding that she will cooperate with the police. But when you're trafficked, there's more to that. You feel like your life is in danger. You have family to protect. So unfortunately, it's not always a success story, because they will just go underground again. There's only so much you can do. With regard to undocumented migrants, we have like domestic workers in the UK. Before, they didn't have the right visa. Then there was a concession. Then they became they were granted proper visa, so domestic workers in a private household, and they were able to settle in the UK after 5 years. But then they changed it again. I don't know why, in 2012. So now a lot of domestic workers can only stay for 6 months, and then after 6 months, either they stay here illegally or they go back home. So we're fighting for the rights of domestic workers by way of appealing to the courts that the reasons because of human rights, and that help, that kind of help that we give to domestic workers, it's invaluable, because you just have to keep fighting the system to make sure then that if they can stay here, then that's great, you've done your job. They're also undocumented, for example, when they decided to stay in the UK after the visa expires, and then they don't want to go back home because they have family to support. So they stay to work cash in hand, and then I find ways to for them to stay here legally. It's not always easy, because some of them, they don't meet the immigration requirements, which is unfortunate. But for example, if they were in an abusive relationship, like way back home, and they want to dissolve their marriage, then I can do that. I can do divorce from the UK. There's no divorce in the Philippines, right? So, but they can divorce in the UK. It is recognized in the UK. That means they can remarry in the UK. Technically, they're still married in the Philippines.
Mm.
Then once they're married here, then they can regularize their stay in the UK. So they being in an abusive relationship, severing that ties with that ex-partner, then finding a new life in the UK, being happy, being able to move forward. That's the ultimate goal, right? I mean, I'm only doing the technical side of things, the paperwork. But for them, it's a new life, it's a new
It
chance,
is. Yeah.
opportunity, right?
Yeah, and so
So,
these things that you're doing, with championing yung causes nitong mga yung parang really marginalized subset ng population natin, ng mga Filipinos, especially women, right? Because a lot of people go there as domestic helpers.
yes.
There's really nothing wrong with that, guys, yung pagiging domestic helper. But I hope that you get the sense na because hindi talaga matatanggal, we can't really remove yung mga discrimination na nangyayari minsan. Sometimes they have this perception of us na pag Filipino is really in the service industry, right? And this is why it's very important.
We're subservient,
Exactly,
right?
we're subservient. So it's really important. Kaya nga, lagi kong sinasabi sa inyo, level up. It could be stepping stone that you're using to get into that country. But once you are there and you're offered the opportunity, sabi nga ni Attorney Dias, you're regularized and you can, step up, do something to level up, right? Because it's not an industry that will serve you best in the long term. You do have to level up. Okay, kasi marami yung like, I've heard, it really breaks my heart. Actually, this is also the other reason why I put up this platform, to help people realize na, there is a better life for us other than just wanting to. It's good to be like starting siguro in the service industry habang nag-iipon ka pa lamang, right? Nag-iipon ka lang. But again, yung concept ba na there's more out there possible for us
Oh,
Filipinos. And
yeah. It's
I
not
want
just about earning the money, Dr. Iris, and sending it to the Philippines, to the family, because a lot of Filipinos do that, right? They come abroad to have a better life for the family back home. So they keep sending the money. They keep making sure they have food on the table. And actually, this makes me sad because quite a lot of kababayans in the UK. So even though they don't have papers, they continue to work cash in hand. But it is affecting the mental health, the physical health. And there was actually a case not long ago where this lady died alone during last year of cancer, and she didn't have the money to have the treatment, and she died leaving children back home. So it's very
and she
sad.
was working so hard. She was
She
just
worked
like
so hard just to
working.
send money to the Philippines to make sure that her children, even her parents would have something to eat. Disregarding her own self value, I suppose. Her self worth, just to make sure she earns some money to send back home, and it's just almost just surviving, right? It's not a life, and it's
It's
very
not a
sad.
life.
It really saddens me, and it's not a one-off incident. Unfortunately, it happens often. Yeah.
Kaya nga po yung ina-encourage namin kayo. Kasi first of all, may mga kamag-anak sa abroad dyan. Ano po, kala nyo yung mga kamag-anak nyo, dumudumi ng pera. You think that we just pick up, like money from the trees. People work so hard. Yung kinukwento nga ni attorney kanina, may case na yung babae namatay na lang sa cancer, right? She just died. She was working so hard, sending all that money sa Philippines. We don't know, sometimes mga kamag-anak ko are not grateful. Sasabihin pa yung
Yeah.
ibang kamag-anak, sometimes ito lang, padala mo, o asan yung,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
You
my
don't
gosh.
know, right? And you see a lot of these cases na mga kapwa natin, probably minimum wage, probably working really long hours, probably getting maltreated. Ako, it breaks my heart when I see those cases sa Middle East, yung mga pinopost sa Facebook, right? Like how they're being
Yes.
abused and maltreated. Sometimes they sometimes make videos pa when they're, and it really really breaks my heart. So itong platform ko nito, I think I'm one with you in this advocacy. I want to like spread this awareness that it can be better. Kaya nga dito, like, always encouraging people, level up, guys. Don't be content to stay there. Sometimes these things na you go through, journey yan, is stepping stone. Dito sa mga patients ko, attorney, you know what? Lagi ako nagle-lecture. Do you know why? Because they come in and they're saying, Doc, masakit. They work in the service industry, most of them, right? It's also very unusual to have a professional, like especially doctor dito. So I
Right.
have a lot of Filipino patients. And talagang they get a lecture from me. They keep coming in, ang sakit ng elbow kasi they work in the grocery, kunyari, or sakit dito, or sakit sa likod.
Yeah.
What they
It's very
always
much manual labor.
Yes, what I
Yeah.
always say to them, what are you doing? We have grants. Here we have grants. They can study anytime they want. They can upgrade. But the thing is to step out of that comfort zone. So I actually partnered with may mga kakilala ako who process these things that do grants, yung para sa mga kulang yung sahod nila, and they give them the grants from the government so they can study. It's just there waiting for you. You just have to upgrade, right? And so so I hope that you guys will realize the importance of really like leveling up, upgrading. Kasi yung sense of self-worth din po ay mag-i-improve din, right?
Yes.
So you're capable of so much more. So anyway,
We-
so let me so do you want to tell us a bit more yung iba pang kind of work? I just wanted to show this picture of your lovely daughter here. So ayan. So
No.
yeah.
Yeah, so
She's
it's just really with the work I do. It was picked up by the Ladies of All Nations International, and in 2019, I was awarded as Human Rights Champion. I don't know if I deserve it, but
I think you
I
do.
thank them for recognizing my work. The award I got from the Filipino Women's Network, that was in 2018. Again, I mean, I didn't seek that. I was approached by someone from Norway, a representative of the FWN. And yeah, and just luckily it was actually held, the summit was held in London, so I didn't have to travel far. But yeah, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly. And I think, it kind of just really parang encompasses like all the things that you've done, right? Like because you don't, again, mga ganyang awards, you don't just get them parang out of the blue, right? It's because you're doing something. You're making a change in the community. And sayang nga lang, you're in a different, siguro if I lived in London, oh, for sure, we would be like networking. You
Oh,
never know. You never
yeah.
know. I went there for vacation, but, I plan to go again. My husband's
Oh,
European.
please become again,
So
and I'll introduce you to many people I know, and they love you, I'm sure.
it would be so lovely to meet you. Sana nga, we have someone like you over here. Again, dito ang hirap din for lawyers. To actually, I have a few lawyer friends, hindi pa sila nagpa-practice as lawyers. It's pretty tough because they had education abroad.
Mhm.
Unlike you, kasi ikaw, you're trained there and all that, right? So, pero even though it's still a difficult journey.
Yeah.
So definitely, I'd love to definitely have you again. Perhaps we'll be having you on our English platform. Kasi dito we
Yes.
had to do a little bit of Taglish kasi ang ating mga guests. But let me read a few comments before we wrap up. So
Mhm.
sabi ni Marge Famola, she's giving you the clapping hand. You deserve all the recognition given to you, attorney. Yes, she does. She does deserve them. They thought we are ATM.
Yeah.
Yan, yung mga may
Yeah.
kamag-anak sa abroad, right?
Yes.
Opo, mahirap po sa abroad. Sipag at tiyaga po kailangan. Pagmamahal po sa trabaho. Sabi Brodsky,
Awesome. Correct.
just 2 years ago, I already planned for myself too, because out of nowhere, you don't know what tomorrow will be. Need also to think of myself, not only the family. Good
That's
to plan for our future. Sabi ni Noella, they don't know how hard yung work daw sa abroad.
yeah.
Janalyn, tama po Doc, kasi ang mindset ng tao kapag nasa abroad tayo, marami na tayong pera.
Yes.
Akala po kasi ng iba, napakadaling magtrabaho. Sabi ni Noella, so proud of OFW. Yeah,
Yeah.
very true po. Many Filipinos go to other country. Yeah, marami po. Kaya nga, yung mga meron naman pong kamag-anak dyan, show your appreciation kasi it's not a walk in the park. You're a very big help. A lot of domestic workers, attorney, bless you. Yeah, she's doing a lot of great work there. Sana po lahat ng mga successful katulad po niyo, Doc and attorney, still humble pa din and patuloy na nag-share ng knowledge nila. Nakakabilib po kayo. Yeah,
Nice.
thank you very much for that. Very passionate attorney daw. Truly blessed is the person who is humble and continues to share knowledge like Doctora and attorney. Sabi ni Grace, nakakabilib po kayo, attorney, napakagaling niyo po. Yes.
Yes.
So, sabi naman ni March, you are such a role model, attorney, nakakabilib sobra. Yeah. So guys, ito nga kasi talaga yung showcase ko sa inyo na ang concept ng leader ay hindi lamang isang taong utos ng utos and all that. A leader can be, first of all, syempre, pinakita nga ni Attorney Dias, brave. She was so brave, right? To venture into this kahit ng credit crunch. A leader is hardworking. A leader is someone who is not afraid to help others, right? True leaders groom other leaders. Wala sila nung scarcity mindset. They have this abundance mindset where they're okay to help other people. And a true leader actually lives beyond themselves. They see the greater cause, right? Nakikita nila how they can contribute to the betterment of the world, right? So it isn't just, it's great. Syempre, in the beginning, you will start, economically, right? Syempre, kaya ka nga nagtayo ng business, kaya ka nga pumunta sa isang profession, you want to earn. But eventually, and I know that Crystal can empathize with me on this, eventually, once you reach that kind of, financial stability, it's you really like realize it's more than that, right? There's more to it.
About the money, really, is that? I mean, I'm not a millionaire, put it this way, but then I love my job. I enjoy it. Some people earn so much money, but they hate their job. So you have to find the right balance, really, that you love your job, it does pay the bill, and also you are able to spend more time, equal time, if you like, with your family. If you're a working mom, it's very hard to juggle work and home. So
Yeah, you
that's,
have two kids,
that's
right?
another thing, right?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. And I love that because here we promote the concept of harmony. You have two kids. The ages are, ilang taon na nga?
14 and 8.
14
So
and 8, yeah. So meron talaga pang, you're blessed, boy and girl.
yeah.
So talagang may balancing act na kailangan. Plus also, she's working with her husband. I think in some ways, that's also good kasi he completely understands what it
Mhm.
takes, right? Parehas po silang lawyer. But syempre po, yun nga, sabi nga ni Attorney Dias, important pa rin yung balance. So, I think we're gonna wrap up here. So, any last words? By the way, guys, please show some love. We're gonna post yung link ng kanilang Facebook page. Okay, so please give it a like. Do you have? So they have Facebook. They have, I believe, they also have YouTube. So the Dias team, we will put the links there. So when we edit this video, ilalagay po natin lahat. Facebook niya, Dias Solicitors, and then let me type that here. And please visit kasi marami din kayong matututunan. And especially if you have, sorry, I'm gonna put it on here, Dias Solicitor sa Facebook. Pag meron kayong mga kamag-anak din sa UK, especially yung mga nangangailangan ng immigration, family law, then please show them itong page nila. Ano po? Yung Dias Solicitors, you can find that. Meron silang Instagram, Crystal Dias. Oh, I'm gonna follow you there, Crystal. So, yeah. So, yun po, show some love, okay? They have YouTube as well. Baka makatulong po sa inyo. Ano po, yung mga pinapublish doon. And we'll be guesting her again. So, Crystal, I'm already like obliging you. No, just kidding. I'm gonna have you again.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Definitely, I would love to join you again. So, and once again, thank you very much for inviting me to your show. It's such an honor, and I'm so glad that our paths crossed via social media. It's amazing what social media can do, but it's great to meet you, Dr. Iris. Thank you very much once again.
thank you so much. I'm really, really humbled to meet someone like you. Sabi ko nga sa iyo from the time we met, sabi ko nga, I really like your aura. It's so positive. It radiates kasi I can kind of sense energy.
Wow.
For some
Yeah.
reason, I don't know why. Maybe it's my work with mindfulness. Since I started practicing, kasi when you meditate a lot, you sense energy. So since noon, parang I absorb without meaning to. I can kind of sense a person's energy. So it's very, very positive. So I think that I'm also very grateful that our paths connected. So sa mga lahat pong nandito, abangan po, we're gonna have again an English broadcast naman with Attorney Dias. And yeah, thank you po sa lahat ng nanood. Ayan, pinost na ni Ronaldin yung kanilang link.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, so have a great day, everyone. Have a good afternoon sa'yo dyan, Attorney. And I'll see you all again soon. So bye for now.